feel free to ask me to answer me. Sorry, I have to adjust this date on my slide. Let me quickly adjust that. Sorry for that. I did not take note of the date. That was a mistake. This is November. I'm sure that's the only thing I didn't correct. Okay, let's get started. Good evening, everybody. If you're just joining us, welcome to Exovat's data analysis masterclass. 2023 November. This session is sponsored by PyCharge. PyCharge is a charging cable brand, and what they do is whatsoever you buy from them, you can get 13 months warranty on either cables, power bank, or whatever. If you return it, there is no excuse. They will give it back. They will replace it for you. Replace it for you within 3 months. Website pycharge.com or pycharge.ng, wherever you are. My name is Victor. Can you all hear me? I just want to be sure that you guys are hearing me, please. Can you please confirm that you are hearing me so that I will not, I want to make sure that your time is not wasted.
Yes.
All right, that's good. Just a moment. So, my name is Victor. I've got a background in engineering myself, and I did a postgrad in data science. At the end of my data science training, uni training, I realized that becoming a data scientist requires way more than all I know. And back then, they require you to have a bit of software engineering skill. So I decided to skill up by myself and improve on myself. And I thought of all the data science classes I took, which of them do I really, really enjoy the most? I enjoy visualization, and I see myself more as a business person as opposed to me just getting my head buried in the lab 24/7 trying to come up with new model. So I decided to um, go for becoming a data analyst. And after skilling up, I've been able to work ever since in government, bank, private sector, and so on and so forth. Um, I've been using at work, most of the tool I used includes Excel, Power BI, SQL, PowerPoint, Microsoft Word. Is somebody saying something? Okay. Let me tell you, data science itself, data science in itself, let's say the whole data space in itself is as old as you can think of it. At the same time, people setting up a career within the data space is as young as you can think. The whole machine learning concept is probably more than 30 years now, but it's becoming a major thing that everybody's kind of getting interested in. It's probably less than 15 years now that a lot of people are getting mad and crazy about it. So within this space, I can tell you point blank that there is no actual certification for you being a data person. Although Microsoft and some other whatever have been coming up with some kind of certifications, and each of those certifications are actually developed around their own tools that they built. So meaning that if, let's say Microsoft Word is a data analysis tool, then they created some kind of trainings and exams around Microsoft Word. So meaning that if you can use Microsoft Word efficiently, you can write the Microsoft Word exam and you can say you have a Microsoft certificate. But 9 out of 10 times within this space, nobody will ever ask you for a certification in terms of data. 9 out of 10 times, if you're applying for a data role, they will put a computer in front of you and give you a problem and say, please, can you help us solve it? And that is very smart, because, for example, if you tell me today that, oh, I can type in Microsoft Word, what will I give you? How will I know that you can type in Microsoft Word? Can somebody answer me? Hello? Let's keep it interactive. I want to hear answers. Okay, nobody's willing to talk. Okay, fine. If you want to tell me that you can type in Microsoft Word, the only thing the best way for me to check if you really really can type is what's it called? Is for me to put you in front of the computer and just it's for me to put you in front of the computer and let you type within the space. Just a moment. I'm trying to make sure that okay, fine. So the best way I can confirm that you can type is for me to put you in front of the computer. Your mic, okay, your mic is muted. Okay, I understand. That's fine. I'll just keep talking. So, it's for me to put it in front of the computer and let you, display your skill of typing, and that's the way it works within the data space. So, if you're coming to become a data analyst, do not focus on certifications, please, because nobody will ask for it. Focus more on the skills. Do you know what you are doing? If anybody comes around today and say, can you analyze this data for me? Can you do it? Nobody will ask you for your certificate. Nobody cares. So when you are making your CV, don't even ever put certifications at the top. I'm just using that. So don't let me say that enough. But it's something that is very, very important that people know. And in many cases, most data roles, they have the freedom. I mean, I work remotely. I work from home. Unfortunately, in many countries, you may not be allowed to move the data. You may not be allowed to travel to another country with the data of the country, because sometimes data can be very sensitive. So let's move away from here. Where's my mouse? Okay, next one. So what do data analysts do? Data analyst, your job is strictly to collect data, turn it into visuals for the organization. At the same time, when you collect data, the next thing you need to do is for you to communicate it. A data sitting somewhere does not make any sense to the people that owns it if nobody can tell them or show them in a way, when they say show and tell, can show them what that data actually means. And you need to be able to understand who you are presenting the data to and how to manage their expectation. And that's basically, let me say, that's just the summary of what data analysis is all about. Now, who are data analysts? Where do they work? Most data analysts come from different backgrounds, and that's why I said certification within this space does not make any sense. What differentiates us as data analysts is that myself, I came from an engineering background. If I am walking into an engineering industry with my data skill set, they will prefer me over somebody who is a medical person and is a data analyst also, because I understand the voltage, the current, I understand the static, the dynamics, and etc. and etc. So you can work anywhere, and data itself can be more technical or can be management. I remember very well within my own data science class, we had a lot of people that came from psychology. So don't be surprised that anybody can call themselves data analyst.
Apologies, I think he had issue with his computer. Just in a moment, he'll be back.
Can anyone hear me, please? Let me see if I can allow people to unmute.
We can hear you now.
Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Really?
Yes. We can see now.
Okay, if everybody can see my screen, let's move on. I don't know, for some random reasons, I realized the whole thing just got disconnected. I'll try as much as possible to be fast. So, You can work anywhere as a data analyst. Data analysis itself, I mean, people come from all kinds of background, and the role can be more technical and it can be more management driven. So, but as long as every business today is driven by data, trust me, more data skills are needed. We had people in my own time at uni who came from psychology background, engineering, all kinds of all fields of life. And what people need to become, to be able to call themselves a pro or an authority within the data space is the amount of skills and experience they've kind of gathered over the years. So whatsoever field you're coming from, if you've been playing with data and been manipulating it and be able to draw sensible business insight or insight that can impact people on it, it's very easy for you to become an authority within your space. So I would say input is equal to output. It's not just by certification. It's all about how much effort and how much practice you have done. Even if you've not worked anywhere and you've been able to cook up stuff in your house, you've built visualizations and you're able to do a lot of discoveries and do those analysis, write it out, push it out there. Trust me, you become an authority within your space. Let me move to the next one. So why do you need data skills? I will post a survey. Pope, can you please drop the survey into the group, please? Why do you think you need a data skill? I'm 15 minutes behind. Pope, are you there?
Yes, sent.
Uh, please, can you let me share the link to the form because I don't know. Let's do that. Let's do a quick exercise so we can hear people's
It's on the chat.
opinions out. So there's a link in the front channel. Oh, sorry, I said front channel. I'm not on Clubhouse. There's a there's a link in the chat that I mean, that you can let us know why you want to do data analysis. So, hmm, can you please, have you all seen the link? I'll just wait for one more minute and please let us know.
It's on the chat group. It's on the WhatsApp group as well.
I'm trying to see, I'm trying to pull the responses together. Okay, So guys, for some random reasons, I just realized my internet is cutting off. So I have disconnected from my old internet source and I have switched to a new one. Can you all still hear me now? So I will have to share my screen all
Yes,
over again.
I can hear you.
Okay, that's fine. Sorry for all the breaking transmission from my end. Sharing my screen all over again. Okay, so I will go and read your responses. Copy link and this paste. Don't worry, we will get into the interesting stuff. It's just good for us to have an idea of what people are saying. So I've seen people say they want to do it because of career advancement. Somebody said to be able to predict the future. Somebody said they want to be able to save time and not relying on order to pull data and make dashboard in order to make a change in career. Have skills that stand out in job industry. Currently, one of the most sought after skills to be able to analyze, enable business. Okay, they want to be in the world driven by data. Yeah, people want to be. So I want everybody, if you look at it, the common thing is that most people want to be able to advance in their career. They want to be able to kind of, become relevant. And that's one thing within the tech space. Within the tech space, if you refuse to evolve, or the moment you stop learning, that's the day you become less relevant in this space. So if you're coming into the data space, please and please and please, it's a normal thing for you to keep learning and learn every day. So averagely, in the US, according to Northeastern University, most data roles in demand, it ranges from $80,000 per year to, let's say, 150. I know people that are on a quarter of a million. And there are people that are on 400,000, depending on which organization you work in. But this is like a median calculation. Now, the funny side or the good side of it is that you can start anywhere within on the ladder. You don't have to start from the top or the bottom. Start anywhere. That is very convenient. Most of us are not statisticians. Myself, I don't think I like statistics that much because I realize that it's kind of long and tedious. But you can actually be a data analyst where you understand that you're able to look at the data and say, okay, we can plot a pie chart on this. We can use a bar chart for that. We can plot this against that, and it will give us that. Oh, with the way I'm looking at this data, you guys actually made $20,000 sales last year, and this year you are making 15,000. You are on five. To be very honest, you are just doing statistics. It's just not the crazy ones. So you can start as a data analyst where you are just the middleman between the business and the technical team, technically where you're just taking data and interpreting it for the business purpose. Or you can also be a BI, a business intelligence person. In some organization, they call this data analyst a business intelligence analyst or whatever they want to call you. And you can move from there, become a data engineer or an enterprise architect and just move on or just be a data scientist or whatever. You can move from anywhere to anywhere. One thing that is very funny within this space is that I will actually show you that as we go. In the UK, an average data role goes for, or let's say the median data role goes for between 30,000 and 50,000 per year on a permanent contract. If you are a full-time contract, if you're on a permanent role, if you're a contractor, it's an average of 300 to 500 pounds per day. I mean, on the average, you could be lucky to get yourself a 700, 800 pounds worth a day salary also, I mean, as a data analyst. In the US, Canada, and Australia, permanent roles goes between 70,000 and 150. Contracts can be between $50 and $150 per hour. So it all depends on where you find yourself. So what I'm saying in a nutshell is data roles are well paid. And you can imagine you doing this from the comfort of your house. And I've given you screenshots from different advertisement sites. You've got Indeed on the side, and that's JobServe on the other side. Yes, I know you guys have heard this phrase very well. Data, AI will take your jobs. Yes, AI will not take your jobs, but I can promise you that people that knows AI will take your jobs. AI, I mean, for you to actually get into AI, you need to know how to deal with data, either for you to be able to analyze data and for you to understand how model works and etc. But you need to start from somewhere. You cannot just start today and say you want to go to the top. I just start from somewhere. Anywhere you pick the knowledge, just get into it and be very good at it. Because if you don't, somebody that have been doing that work that you've refused to do will come around and displace you. It's the same with pilots and airplanes, where um, in the future we are looking at planes that will fly themselves. At the same time, there will be drone pilots So now they're actually hiring a lot of drone pilots than they would hire an actual pilot these days. So if you don't go and upgrade your skill as a pilot, you probably in a couple of years be out of job. So what do you need as a data scientist, data analyst? So within this role, there are three major, within the data space, there are three major roles. And I'm excluding the data management out of this. There is a data analyst, there is a data scientist, and there is a data engineer. The difference between them, I will say to you, but their jobs are well interwoven. As a data analyst, your job is to interface between the business and the technical team or the marketing team or whatever, collect the data, analyze it, and show it to them. So you need to be very, very strong at communication and be able to do some basic maths. Like the common maths that is being used within the data space is algebra. You do all kinds of linear algebra, and I mean that's the very common one. So basic additions, subtraction, mean, median, max, and etc. You would really, really need to know it. But it's not like that would be your strength. It's just for you to be able to kind of check things out just in case your calculations are wrong when the computer gives you an answer. A data analyst, your job more, sorry, a data scientist, your job is more to build models. You will be building all kinds of machine learning models. That's where the core of AI and etc. sits, where you'll be coming up with new models or new ways to solve problems. And a data engineer will be the person that will turn whatever a data scientist has built into a large scale solution that the whole business is going to use. When the business is using it, there will be more data that is generated. For the business to know if they are making much sense out of the data they are generating, they need a data analyst to help them interpret that data. And that's where data analyst comes into play. So every one of them are actually needed. The good side of it is that when you're a data analyst in some organizations, you have to do some part of your job that are related to a data scientist, or you might even find yourself doing a data engineer's job. So starting from somewhere and learning the rest of the work is very important. And without you just sitting in one place to say, "Oh, I'm just a data analyst. I'm more interested in becoming a data engineer or something." You will learn across all the whole organization. You don't need to know everything, but at least have an idea of what's going on within the other space. Now, talking about tools, I use this picture because I think it gives a very good representation of tools that are being used. See, from where it says the ETL layer all the way down to, hey, what's this? All the way down to feature engineering layer, you tend to see a lot of data engineering tools there. You see Hadoop, Spark, and so on. You are dealing more with big data. You are dealing more with large scale data. You are doing a lot of stuff there that is really, really heavy. The data science space is really more around here where you are doing machine learning, classification, regression, clustering, cross-validation, and etc. That's where the data science comes into play. Now, you as a data analyst, you will be working more within the space where you will be doing visualization. Now, visualization can be using hardcore code to do your visualization, or you actually use tools like Power BI, Tableau, ClickSense. And if you look at it, Microsoft is actually a major organization that is actually the company that most organizations are using. So Microsoft actually do dominate this space very well. So if you can use Excel very well, Excel is a very, very important tool within this space. So you will need to be, I mean, for you to be able to be successful as a data analyst, you need to know how to use Excel very well. Power BI is one of the strong tools that you can use to do visualization. It's just like advanced Excel. Tableau is also not very far away from Power BI or Excel, and same as Click. So you don't need to know everything. You don't need to know all the tools. You just need to know what is relevant to the role that can help you do your job. You don't need to know everything. So when you are starting, pick one, know it very well, and be very good at it. So that is the rule. Now, one thing that is very common is that an average data analyst or data scientist or data engineer, they spend about 70% of their time doing data cleansing. So the two of them, you can see where it's interwoven. You will do a lot of data gathering, you will do a lot of data cleansing, you will do data analysis. You will have to do it. The only thing is that as a data analyst, you are just providing insights to business on performance, how they are doing, KPI and etc., telling them about the source of truth and explaining the outcome and how it's going to affect their business to them. Whereas a data scientist, you are just busy building models on the new way to build stuff and how to, before ChatGPT becomes ChatGPT, a set of data scientists actually sat down to come up with the model of how it's going to work. Then a data engineer decided to build it into what everybody is using today, and that's why it's stronger and it's not unbreakable. Now, when a lot of people are using ChatGPT and they are generating more business insight, they need a data analyst to help them analyze the data to see is this giving us impact. A very good example is that, okay, we've been writing an article manually by ourselves, but now we've 50 people are reading it. Since we started using ChatGPT to generate our articles, we have over 70 people that are reading it right now. That's an insight. That's what a data analyst is going to do for you in your organization. Coming back to the pay, because I like money myself, you can see data analyst can be on a £500 a day contract, and you can work full time. This is hybrid remote, is in Manchester. Now, one thing I want you to pay attention to is that there is something very common to all the job adverts you are going to see. This one says data analyst contract, you need to have good standard of education, If you can see here, nobody says you must have any data certification here. One thing they came around to say that is very common is that you must be able to have a good command of SQL. You must be able to use Excel, and most of them want you to be able to do communication. So communication is very important. See, the only thing they ask for here is that a good knowledge of electricity and gas industry. It's just the knowledge. Just have an idea of the space. And that's it. You can even just go and read it up a day before the interview and you will nail it. Here is actually something with the NHS, and they are willing to pay you 51 and 57,000. If you look at it, they said SQL, Power BI, Excel. Can you see? And that's it. Nobody mentioned certification here. The only thing they tell you need to know about data protection, data about those privacy standards. You need to know, just understand how the organization works. And honestly, communication is key, because if you do an analysis and nobody can understand what you have analyzed, then it doesn't make sense. You need to understand how to deal with people. Here's also another one in the London insurance market. You can see it's SQL, it's Excel. I don't even think these ones have Power BI itself. They do not have any other thing. It's strictly SQL and Excel. And this is like an insurance one, but you can see how much they are paying for Excel. 575 to 600 per day. It's not a joke, per day. So, and there are so many other roles out there that you will be able to get just because you have data analysis skills. So let's say, for example, you are a Scrum Master, like I've seen today. The Scrum Master roles are even requiring understanding of data these days. It's a project, like you are in a project, you are a project manager. They will take you because you have data skills compared to somebody who is just a project manager and does not know anything about data. So you knowing data will actually increase your chances. It will make you survive, because very soon a lot of roles will be getting asked, and the only people that would be left within the organization are those who are dealing with data. And I can give you an example. I worked with a government organization during COVID-19. When COVID is over, they let go everybody. We are the last set of people that they allowed to that left the organization, because they don't need them anymore, but they need us. So as a data person, or as somebody who really understands data or who uses data on everyday basis, you will be considered very relevant to the organization. So if you like your job and you don't want to get fired anytime soon, please get to start using data. Now, how can you become a data analyst? You can decide to go through two ways. Either you can do self-learning. Self-learning will take you through different kind of trajectory, and at the end of everything, to get you to where you're going. But it's actually the best way to learn, as far as I can see. I've seen it, but it takes time. So if you're not, if you don't have to rush, you just have to learn it. You just need to be consistent with your learning. And places where you can learn to become a data analyst, you can go on YouTube, you can read Stack Overflow. A tool website like Microsoft Page do have all kinds of documentation on how to use Excel or Power BI to analyze data and so on. It requires educations, and you will learn a lot. You will learn way more than every other people, but it requires a lot of effort. Input is equal to output. If you cannot put a lot of effort into it, then you're not going to get anything out of it. If you want to be handheld, and you realize that, well, I don't think I'm having interest in whatever. Well, there could be stuff like this where, let's say, Exovat is running a 6 weeks training on, let's say, how to become a data analyst, blah, blah, blah. You pay, they give you handheld, whatever, give you industry, what's it called, exercise, make you practice and practice and practice, and you become a pro within 6 weeks, and you are able to move on with your life and just become a data analyst. And, you'll be firing applications, get a job, and that's you ready to go. Now, to become a data analyst, honestly, it all depends on you. So let me know. Do you prefer to be handheld or do you prefer self-learning? Let me know your choice in the comment section. Let me know. Let me see. I will be reading your comments. I'll be reading your comments now. Let me go and start reading your comments. Ouch. What's going on with my comment? Comment in the section. Do you prefer handheld, self-learning? Yes, I see. As somebody that did engineering, I enjoyed self-learning. Self-learning is actually a good way. I did self-learning. I did self-learning with driving. I did self-learning with swimming. I did self-learning, whatever. Self-learning is really good, but I understand that not everybody can do self-learning, because you just feel like you are busy, you have a child, you have job to attend to, then for you to come back home and be spending time watching 4 hours video can be very, very tiring. So I understand that it can be very hard with self-learning. But to do handheld training, it can also be very hard for the trainer and so on and so forth. And that's why some of them, and if you go and check the price, I think the last person I saw that was doing data analysis training, because the lady works for Google, I think she charges people about $2,700 for a data analyst training. So, and I told one of the people that was attending, I said, most of the things this lady is teaching you, they are all good, but unfortunately at work you may not use all of them. So I would rather recommend you to go for a training that will teach you things that you actually need for you to be able to get into job as fast as possible. And tonight, I will actually expose you to everything. So take your pen and paper and jot things down. If you don't have a pen and paper, listen carefully. If you know you want to be handheld, that's also different. You will also benefit from this tonight, because at least familiarization with what you are going to learn or what you need to learn a lot. So, can somebody mute your mic if they are not talking to me, please? Thank you very much. So let's go. Where are we? So I will mute my mic here and I'll let somebody take over and explain this part to you. Kunle, are you there to explain this part, please?
Hi, everyone. It's good to have you all here. Briefly, I'm going to be explaining this part. You will see the bottom line says from data to insight to impactful decisions. A quick data story. So basically, we are all unaware data analysts. Every day we make decisions in our lives. You are in between opinion whether to eat at McDonald's or whether to use Mama Put, and then you look at your account balance, then you make decision based on what your account balance is telling you. So we are all on our way data analysts. At one point or the other, every day we make decisions based off certain numbers, certain factors. This is all about. This is basically what data analysis is about. So I love this slide because it's really in projecting about the life cycle of data analytics. Many times when you hear the word data analysis, it sort of gets you scared. You think it's really some big deal, but the truth is, it is just a very simple cycle of learning process. So the first thing on this data analytics journey is your data literacy. Like I said, you are a data analyst, but you are unaware simply because you are illiterate about that. Data literacy is very essential, and so many organizations today, just like earlier mentioned, are trying to ensure that even their non-technical staffs or team members are getting data educated. So they want them to be able to at least interact with data because of the efficiencies and how easier it makes everyone's life become. So data literacy is you understanding what data So if you look at, sorry, I'm not the one sharing. So if you look at where one is pointing to understand, so you must be able to understand data. And people have been taking, we've been taking classes. I tell them, when you get any data to work on, understand the industry this data is from. So, for example, e-commerce, agriculture, transportation, like flights, number of flights, but whatever. So, try to understand the industry where that data come from. When you explore the industry, it will give you good knowledge of interacting with the data that you've just probably download from somewhere or anything, and it will also help you to uncover the real or relevant insight that is needed from that data set. So data literacy is really, really very important. Understand data. You must be able to read data and sort of communicate properly with the data set even before talking about it with other person. Now, data curiosity, which has to do with exploring. So it's a very vital part of data analytics cycle. So you explore the data. I tell our students columns by columns. Sometimes when you dump data set to students, they are unable to figure out what insight to bring out from the data. And I'm like, okay, you've got like 20 columns there. You've got date, you've got product, you've got categories, you've got so a lot of so many columns, and in each of those columns, maybe there are drop downs that also explain further the insight or key data points. So at this explorative stage, is one of the most powerful stage of data analysis. Sometimes if I have to do anything at work, first of all, I just go to the table first, look at the table column by column, study it, understand it, look at the numbers that are coming, because this is where you'll be able to see outliers. Sometimes you are analyzing data that the highest number should not be more than 1,000, and a number pop up where you are seeing 1 million. As a data analyst, at this explorative phase, sometimes you outrightly know that's an error. So you must understand data literacy, data curiosity. So be curious about the data, explore it. After you explore it, you'll be able to uncover very powerful insight. So, and that will lead you to the third stage. So after this explorative phase, you have built the charts, the insight, everything, and you are about to present your findings to the stakeholders. So this data storytelling is most likely, I always say, it's the most important session, because if you don't work in an organization where you just have to develop the or build the report and somebody else is going to make the presentation, you have the responsibility to be able to communicate your insight to your audience. So if you see communicate audience, and this is very important, because if you are seated in front of senior business owners, stakeholders, and you are to present your findings. So this is where your presentation skills, you must have very good presentation skills, your command of words, and be able to summarize things. So data storytelling is very important, because it is what stakeholders will use to make decisions. Sometimes you can be very smart, very powerful dashboard, report, and etc. But if you lack the communication skill to create the urgency that your stakeholder needs, then it will be a total waste of time, and your employer will be disappointed. So in a nutshell, this is just everything about the life cycle of data analytics, and this is you at the middle, a change agent, and you are changing things very fast, because you are able to analyze data, understand it, explore it, and then tell the story that you find out from data. Yeah, this is where we'll be stopping and handing over the mic.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks for giving me that break. So we'll move to the next slide. The data analysis process is very simple, just like he has explained. Communication is your strongest tool. You don't want to be a bad communicator. Throughout this stage, the stage that I'm going to explain to you, communication is very important. The first stage, you get the data, you analyze it, you turn it into visualization, you publish it. And when you publish that visual, then the people need to consume it. For somebody to consume it, you need to be able to speak. Now, let me walk you back to it. See, to get the data, you need to talk to somebody. Please, where's the data sitting? Oh yeah, we want to see how much sales we made last year against this year. Okay, well, should I go to the marketing team or should I go to the sales team? Where exactly will I get the data? Just a moment. And you need to talk to someone. So if you don't talk to somebody, you will not know where you get the data. By the time you're analyzing the data, you see a lot of discrepancies, you see a lot of errors, you see a lot of data cleansing job that you need to do. For you not to make mistakes, you need to talk to people and say, okay, can you look at this with me, and so on and so forth. When you visualize it, you will need people along the way. There will be a lot of things you will not see in the design and so on and so forth that you will have to kind of, deal with people. And when you publish, before it goes public, you also need to talk to people because you need third eye, fourth eye, people to check it and see if everything is fine. Then, before you have to start communicating, definitely you need to know your audience. You need to know what is important to them so that you can be able to say what exactly they want to hear to them. In the life cycle of doing data, I'm not sure if you guys have seen CI/CD before. It's continuous development and continuous improvement. In some cases, they call it continuous development and continuous integration. The way it happens with WhatsApp, you realize that every week you get a new update, or every 2 weeks you get new update. Yes, it's the same thing with data. You get it, or you understand the problem, you build the solution. When you build it, you keep collecting feedback. The more feedback you collect, that goes into your design or development stage again. And it's the same with software. You see, they code it, they build it. When they build it, they keep testing it as they go, then they release it. When they release it, they keep monitoring it and collecting more data from that software to see how are people interacting with it, how are people dealing with X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D. Then from there, they make more plan, and that's how they roll out updates. And that's how they know that something is wrong with WhatsApp or with Zoom or with whatsoever app you're using. The same thing with data. When you publish a report, or what's it called? Within the organization, you need to continuously collect data. You need to continuously collect feedback so that you can know where to improve and how to improve your report. So, what to learn? You need to learn how to use Excel. You need to choose a tool, either Power BI, Tableau, SAP, ClickSense, or whichever tool you want to use. You need to pick one of them and be very good at it. You need to know SQL. Unfortunately, that's where most data is sitting across large organizations. If they come around to say it's Azure, is something, it's AWS. See, at the end of everything, it is SQL that is still sitting somewhere inside AWS. So, or Azure, it is still SQL. So, trust me, you would need to deal with SQL. You need to know it, learn it. Now, learn best practices within the data analysis space. You need to know stakeholder management. You need to know how to talk to your stakeholders. You need to know how to deal with them in terms of understanding what they need and asking them what you want, about what you would need to do for them. And at the same time, you need to know how to make a very good CV and how to kind of hack the job market wherever you're living. It's not the same as everywhere, but in most countries, you really, really, really need to know how to hack the job market. Now, I'll come back on this. See, I will make more iterations on data analysis lifecycle because it's the most important thing that you need to know. Before you will be able to solve a problem within the data space, you need to understand the problem. You need to understand what exactly are we solving. And I will use one of the cases I worked on for you. During COVID, when I was able to work with a government organization within the UK, we were dealing with COVID data. One day, my boss came to me and said, we need to be able to use the positivity data, which is the number of people that are having positive cases across the UK, to create a visualization so that we can know where more test centers are needed and where less test centers are needed. So I asked, where's the data? And they gave me the data. Me looking at the data, checking for errors, removing all the error, cleaning it, and so on. And let me even warn you, see, as a data analyst or a data scientist, you will spend more than 70% of your time cleaning data. So I looked at it, I checked it very well to see, okay, we have the number of cases that is coming up per day. Okay, we have the locations, we have whatever. Okay, I can just plot location against number of cases. Then by the time I saw that, I removed all the errors. Then we started building one after the other. By the time I built the first one, by the time I started building and doing modeling, I'm currently around step 4 right now. It was me just trying to see, okay, number of positive cases in specific locations. Then we have to go back to the people that are working on ground to say, is it true that you had 400 cases yesterday? They say yes. Oh, this one is not correct. We fixed those ones. Then we decided to go into the validation state and say, okay. Then they came back and said, why can't you decide to break each location by, okay, if the number of cases are more than 2, give it red. If it is more than 5, give it blue. If it is more than green, give it that color. Then we started doing that. Before you know it, we had a full-blown dashboard that we can use to monitor cases across the UK. And if anybody here is in the UK and there is a COVID-19 test site that popped up in your neighborhood or was taken away from your neighborhood, it is myself that worked on the data that was used to do that whole that whole exercise, because we realized, okay, less cases here, less test site, more cases here, more test site, and that's how we did it. So definitely you have to do presentations, you have to show, and it all communication all through. Always remember this problem, and remember that when you understand the problem very well, you also need to understand your stakeholders so that you can understand what is important to them and how to meet their need. It's very important. If you don't, you will really regret it, because if you present data that is not necessary, they will lose trust in your data, they will lose trust in your work, and you probably would struggle to gain credibility, especially if you do data presentation that made the business lose money. So it's not very it is very important to pay attention to your stakeholders and know what is really important to them. So just like I said, you need to understand the business, understand the scope, understand the problem, understand the limit, know what is expected of you. Who is it for? Why do they need it? How will they use it? Then the data, what type of data is it? Where is it sitting? Okay, it's sales data. It's in our SQL database. Oh, no, it's on one spreadsheet like this. The sales department sent that data to me last week. Look at the data. Okay, does the file contains errors? Is this all we need, or do we need some additional data? Okay, well, we have the state, but we don't know which country. Oh, we have the postcode, but we don't know the city. You need to go and find all those data. Well, we have the product ID, but we don't have the product name. Who can I talk to that will give me? So that's why communication is very important within the data space. The only way to succeed within this space is what? Practice. You can listen to me from today till next year, you will not be successful within this space. The only way to be successful is practice. Even if you are doing self-learning, even you have been undead, you will have to practice. If you don't practice, you will not learn it. You will not know it. You can go and learn from now till next year. You can watch videos. You have to practice. That is the only way. It is the only way. There's no other way to be successful as a data analyst. You have to practice. When you get to work or when you get to an interview, most cases, they will give you a spreadsheet, something to say, can you help us build a pivot table? Or can you tell us how many sales we made last month? You cannot just be trying to go back to your video during that, whatever. They will just expect you to press 2, 3, 4 commands or 4 keys and show them a graph. So that's what is expected of you. Within Excel, what will you need to know? You will have to do data entry sometimes. It may require you to do interviews and ask questions. You may have to kind of go and help them do all kinds of data analysis. Data entry that is required. Let's say, for example, data is missing somewhere, and you are required to say, oh, we need to deal with, let's say you are dealing with a specific situation whereby you've got all the postcodes, or let's say you've got the product ID, but you don't have the product name. How will you be able to find it? You need to be able to do that successfully. You need to understand within the Excel space, you need to know VLOOKUP, you need to know XLOOKUP, you need to know how to do count, trim, if statement, and so on and so forth. I'm looking to see if I can do a demonstration of VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP for you guys now, so that at least you can see what I mean, and just not just that I am just talking from what's it called? Not that I'm just talking gibberish for you guys. Just give me a moment. I'm looking for a specific file for the training. Just a moment. Okay, I'll just use this. Let me use this one. Okay, so you can imagine me using this data, something like this. So in a situation we have on this side a table that contains ID and people's name. Here we have people's ID and we have their class. And you don't want to be dealing with, you want to, like, for example, if it is just, let's say every other thing here is complete, we know the name of everyone, and you are just looking for the name of one person, you can easily look for it here and put it here. But in many cases at work, you find yourself dealing with 500,000 row of data, for example. You cannot be doing it manually. So you must be able to type a code that will help you do it. And all you need to do here is type in a code like this, like say equals to X lookup, bracket open. You click on the ID that you are looking for here, comma, you come and select this one here, and you put another comma and say, okay, look up this ID on this row and return anything that is relevant to that ID in this row for me. And the moment I do enter like this, then the first person's name that I got there is Aaron Bergman. As a data analyst, I don't have to be typing everything all the way down. I just need to scroll down, and that's me done. It's less than 30 seconds. If they give this to you at work, can you do at your job interview? Can you do it? Yeah, those are the key things you need. You said? Okay, those are the key things you need to really, really put together. I'm just using that as an example. You need to build pivot table and charts and so on and so forth. And there are so many ways to do it. And it only comes by practice. I'm able to do that without scrambling or anything because I had to practice. I can show you tests they gave to me when I was applying for a job, and you won't believe it. So when you're doing questionnaire, when you're working as a data analyst, you will be involved in a lot of stuff like doing questionnaire design, helping to find missing data, just like I've showed you with the XLOOKUP. You may have to fill some of them manually if there is no automated way to do it, but you need to know all the methods that is required. See, just like I've shown you, if let's say we know the name, we know the age, we know the score, but for Billy, we only need the age. We don't know the age of Billy. You can decide to look into the second sheet here and just put Billy's age and just pull it here. But if you are dealing with 500 missing data set, trust me, you will not be able to do it manually. And at work, they will expect you to be able to do it. So, and I've shown you VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP already. One thing is, we don't. Do we have time for you to practice? Do you guys want to practice XLOOKUP? Let's continue. If somebody types into the whatever, we can decide to, because I really want us to finish this stuff on time. I don't want us to waste time doing it. If you need help with it within the group, I can give you the formula, and I can send you a video that you guys can go and watch to do it. In terms of doing what's it called, data cleansing, you will need to do a lot of you will need to do a lot of removing spaces, removing errors, removing blanks, removing NAs, removing duplicates. Popular command for finding and replace, you need to use trim to, you have to help you kind of remove some errors. Before you remove duplicates, please be sure very well of the data you are playing with. because that is going to that can have a bit of a detriment on yourself, because if you remove important data sets, that means in the end you may have to kind of come back and start doing everything from the scratch. I'm actually trying to look, because I don't want you guys to think I am lying. I want to see if I can find so I applied for a job in a company recently. Okay, I found it. And guess what they did to me? I am opening this up to you. So they came around and told me, and they gave me this, they gave me this spreadsheet. This is what they gave to me. And they told me, you have 30 minutes to do this. Does that make sense? They told me, you have 30 minutes to do this. And see all what they gave to me. This was what they were trying to use to give me a job. So trust me, when you're going to job interviews, it's not about go and learn what is a none. There's nothing, nobody will come and ask you what is data, what is VLOOKUP. No, they will ask you, they will just put as an Excel sheet in your, in front of you, and you must be able to kind of type code and fill in the gaps and so on and so forth. So that's what it looks like for me when they interviewed me on that role. Remember this step, understand the business problems, know or get familiar with the data set you are dealing with, prepare to kind of, to clean and format the data properly, and try to come up with a strategy that you are going to use to attack the data itself. Then start building your visualization, get feedback from people to validate it before you go and present it to people. And that matters a lot. Let me tell you another story. Sorry, I tell stories sometimes. During COVID, I built, I told you guys that I built a report about what's it called? I told you guys about I told you guys about the fact that I built what's it called? Dashboard that they use to commission and decommission test centers across the UK. So there was a time where we had to build something that has to do with maps that will show the map of the whole country, and we'll do red, amber, green, just like a traffic light system. So when my manager came to me and said, "Oh, are you done with the report?" I said, yes, I'm done. I'm so happy. I'm proud to say, "Oh, let me show them my job." Guess what? The man looks at it and said, "Oh, this is good." Then we called other people to come and review our data. Somebody just said, "Do you guys notice that there is a lot of red on this map? If you go and show members of the parliament, because the report is actually going to the parliament, if you go and show members of the parliament that their neighborhood is having a lot of red, you know that you are going to create a lot of panic." Then we have to think of, okay, what can we do so that we will not create panic? Because they just want to know the number of cases. We are not trying to create a national emergency. So we decided to change our use of color from red to green, light green, and medium green. And that was how we rated it. So when people saw it, they know area of high impact, but nobody got triggered. Nobody got panic to say, oh, we are all, what did they ask you to do on Excel sheet? What they asked me to do with Excel sheet, when was the question? Okay, so what they asked me to do, so okay, maybe this person came late. So during that time, we were able to use positive cases, the number of positive cases in an environment to determine if we need more test sites in that area or to reduce them. And that was what we were supposed to do. So you have to get more data every day about the number of cases that are coming in, and okay, how many test sites do we have here? Each test site is having a kind of allocated capacity, and we have to kind of rank them to say, okay, this area is having a test site that can take 200 people, but the number of people that are having COVID here is already 250. Let's deploy one more extra size of test sites there, something like that. And that was how it was done. But yes, so you need to understand your audience. You need to get feedback, because if you don't get feedback, the interview, what did they ask me to do in the Excel sheet? Oh yeah, if I've not closed it, I can show you. Let me see what they asked me to do in the Excel sheet. Download. Let me see, where is it? Let me see again. I don't know where I left it. Guys, oh, I think I lost it. Okay, I think I found it. I will show you guys to make sure you guys are not confused with everything. So I will hide this one so that you guys will not get confused with everything they did. So when they came, they said filter out the zeros from data A, sorry, from data in column A in sheet 1. Sheet 2, use match to figure out which SKU is present in sheet 2 and is not present in sheet 1. Did you guys remember that? So I did find missing data. Yeah, there are so many ways you can use to find missing data. Match, index and match is one of them. VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP is one of them. See here, they asked you, they just want me to use index and match here. And here they asked me to use VLOOKUP here. In this case, they also tell me, okay, just for me, just in case you did not find any missing data, or what value do you want to put there? And all this can actually be done within a single formula. Here, they asked me to write an if statement in Excel just to show, and they said I should use nested if to do that calculation, blah, blah, blah. Here, they asked me to do, on the sheet called SKU digit and any number, they said that is shorter than 10 digit presented with 0. They had me to add some numbers to it. So they just came around and told me to also create a pivot table. They wrote me to write a statement of approach and etc. So I wrote a statement of approach, and that was the one I was hiding from you guys so that you guys would focus on this one. Yeah. So when you go for when you go for interviews, they will not ask you for, oh, show me your certificate and let you go. No, they will put Excel sheet in front of you and they will give you 30 minutes. And guess what? When I was doing this, a lady was watching me live. So I had to share my screen so that she can see everything I'm doing. Everything I'm doing. It's not a joke. So definitely, if you are becoming a data analyst, you really need to practice. That's the only way to survive within the space. So and that's it with this one. I've explained this one again. Now, when you're dealing with data, you need to really be watchful of your data formatting. And I will explain what I mean to you here. So with data formatting, I think here is a very good case of data formatting here. So you can imagine, where is it again? COVID case. Hold on here. Do we have any missing data here? Okay, let me use this one. So imagine me writing date in this format. So this is today's date. Americans, don't be offended. I know you guys write dates in different form, right? Let me insert. Let me call this date for you guys. And I decide to do like this. Let's say this is my date. And I decide to come here. Can you guys see what is here? At least now it's like it's a date, Abby. Let me. What did you guys see here? Does this look like a date? No, it does not look like a date. You need to be cautious of, okay, what kind of data is given to me? They said this is the date, and this is not looking like a date. If you click on here, you need to come here and check, like, what's going on? Okay, let me just select short date, and this gives you the right format. So if you are dealing with a data set, you need to understand what kind of data is it. Is it in the right format? Is everything okay with that data, and so on and so forth? And that's basically how to survive. You understand what I mean? I mean, how to kind of figure out, your data, and you just need to pay attention to details when you're doing it. When you are doing logic within this space, you need to know how to do basic additions. Like in Excel, for example, let's say let's say we have this one that says sales, and this one that says profits. Let's say sales, let's say shipping, and this is the product. If this is a bag, and this cost $20, let's decide to give you the currency batch, 20 pounds, and this costs 10 pounds. As a data analyst, they want us to calculate what's called the total. Let's say, okay, we'll call this one cost. All right, that's the product cost. So the total amount of sales we made or money that came in is equals to this one plus this one. Enter, and it gives me 30. And that's just doing basic what? Basic addition. If I want to know how much we did without how much, if I'm just given the what's it called? The sales price and the shipping cost only, and I don't know the sales the cost price, I can just do equals to, just like you're doing basic math, that one minus this one, enter, and it gives me the price, and that's the cost. So the same way I did that, I can also do if I want to divide, I can decide to do equals to the 30 column divided by 10, something like that. Boom. And I know that it costs £3. And those are just basic logic calculations, logic stuff that you have to kind of deal with. In many cases, you need to know how to use your minimum, your maximum, your if statement, just like you saw in the test that they gave to me. So, and you need to be able to create pivot table. For pivot table, you need to be able to kind of make a summarization of a large chart and turn it into something much more simpler. And I will show you that one in here. Let's see. Let me look for a large data set that I can quickly turn into pivot table for you guys. Just a quick one that will not take much of our time. Or if I see one from our students, so I'll just pull that out for you guys. Let me see. Better customer sports. Oh, sorry, just a moment. Sales. The one I'm looking for is actually different from this one. Okay, but let's say, for example, if you are here, let me just come here and use, I can probably even just go ahead and use their data from this test for you guys. So let's say here we are, this is the, let's say this is the data itself, and I decided to turn this into a pivot table. I can just decide to come around to say, insert pivot table and chart here, boom, and I can decide to say I want to say choose product name and their sales rep, and oh, I don't have any. Let me do a count of color values and just give me a count. Yeah, that's a count already. Count of product colors. If I decide to make this table better, I can come to design, come to table layout and the tabular view, and this is looking good. Right now, we know that that belongs to that. And this is me just doing it. This is just the basic part of it. You can decide to build something much more, more easier than that. And I can, flip things around and I can decide to just use sales rep as filters. And we know that this is the number of products and so on and so on. So basically, that's just it. Me doing pivot table, and you must be able to do that within a short period of time, and so on. I can decide to change my chart into, let's say, from this, I can change it to, let's say, change it to a pie chart. I'm sure some of you have used Excel before, and you will see what it's going to look like if you turn it into a pie chart, something like that, and just make it really clean, turn it into visuals for people, and you're good to go. So, other things that you may want to do is learning how to use Power Query. You need to know how to load data, combine dynamic data sets. So, for example, I can actually build an election results center for you, or on Power on what's it called in Power. With Power Query, and let me quickly even show that to you right now. So imagine we've got political party, and I'll call these votes, right? And this one, I'll call this sheet location A, right? So let's assume that this is A, B, C, and the other one is D, E, F. Those are the parties that we are voting. That's location A. Let me duplicate this. Move a copy. That's even long. I don't have time. Let's do this. I decided to do location B. And in location B, oh, did I lose anything? Okay, so in location B, I just call it B. Location B, right? I can decide to put 100 votes here and put 200 votes here, right? And here, we've got 20 votes here. And we are just waiting for location A to give us their vote. I can just decide to load this up into Power Query for myself and just do data from table range. I hope my computer is not going to mess up tonight. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. This is me acting like I am a what's it called? A voting booth right here. And I'll call this one. I'll call this location A. I hope I've not bored you guys up with my demo. Oh, here we go. If my computer is slowing down a little bit, I hope it's not because I have a lot of things up and running. Okay, I think this is fine now. So we've got that done. So I can go ahead and load this as just as a connection only a connection. So I can come back and do my location B. Something like this in Power Query and do data from table range. This is me building a proper voting booth for you guys. So you can decide to go to any of the voting centers in this location and, you know, and I can put election results together for you and can do location B, right? I'll just call it LOB. Now, I can now decide to do something, match these two together and say, come on. So I can decide to do append queries. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Not that way. Escape. Let me do it as new. And I will call it location A, come on, and location B. And I'll do OK. And I'll call it election headquarters, something like that. Now, all I have to do now is just go here and just do this. It's going to load. And now I have my election headquarters as the location. So if I come back to location B or location A, and I say DEF is got 500 votes, right? Enter. And I kind of go to data and do refresh all, and I come back to my election headquarters. Did you notice that 500 is now here? So if these two spreadsheets are in two different locations and people are updating data into that spreadsheet, you will be seeing the result live. So you can just decide to plot this into a pivot chart, insert what's called pivot chart and table. And you can decide to just turn this into, okay, party and votes. And you can see, obviously, we can even choose to color it and give it a random, beautiful color, but that's not the job for tonight. So let's assume now it's DEF that is leading this election. Let's go to location B and decided to increase the vote of ABC to 600 here. Boom. and we come here and do data, refresh all. Yeah. Come to the headquarters. Do you know what is happening to my charts now? Let's refresh all here. Did you notice what happened here? Did you see that there's a change? So if they are building election reports or election results, that's technically how it works behind the scene. So there is a data analyst that has configured it in such a way that whenever somebody enters a new data into the whole thing, the number changes, you see a change in graph, and that's what happens as a data analyst. So what you need to know, you need to know the kind of charts to use for the kind of audience you're using, the right color. I told you the story of color, the kind of font. You need to know who needs this output, why do they need it, and what will they do? What do they want to achieve with this? These are beautiful charts that people have built before using all kinds of tools. This is one of them. You can see this is also another chart built in Power BI. I got this off internet. These ones are practice charts that we built during one of the Exovat trainings, and this is just us just playing around with what's it called? With with sales data. We decided to use DVLA, if you're familiar with DVLA in the UK, to show number of accidents by months. And we just cooked up that data, just showcase all kinds of stuff, and you can see maps there. And all these are interactive dashboards that are live that people can play or toy with when dealing with it. This is Zoopla in the UK, where we decided to show what's it called? Housing data using average housing prices per year in all whatever. You realize that 1995 till whatever, I wish I'm buying houses in 1995. That's so cheap. You realize what happened between where it was 1995 and 2015. And in 2020, it looks like things are kind of coming down. And that's it. You just pick a location on this chart and it shows you the next place. So it shows you top 10 places with like the most expensive houses, Greater London, then Stoke-on-Trent, and etc., and so on and so forth. And that, I think those are okay, I think I actually have that chart open here. So this is the one for, this is the data for the DVLA thing that we worked on. You can actually decide to come in here and decide to kind of want to change the data set to something else. Let me see what we used here. We used 13 and 14 data or something. Okay, and one can honestly decide to want to change this from what does the accident index look like? Let's see what the data looks like. Let's try to go and say what numbers can I add together here? I just want to show you one single change. Okay, I want to put a road type there just for us to know which road type accident happened. You can just decide to use do I have a filter for road type here? Okay, I'll just do road type filter and see if road type ABCD road type filter for road type. Give me road type. Those are road type, and I can decide to just add a filter to this. For example, turn it into a filter. Boom. So if we decide to see dual carriageways, you can see that those are all the accidents that happened on dual carriageways. Let me try and see if I can change this to drop down. And yeah, you can decide to just select roundabouts, accidents on roundabout, accident on single carriageway, slip road, and etc. Unknown, one-way street, and so on. And so you just come around, change all the stuff, and they just interact. This is not recorded. It's a live demo of a real life, whatever, and there is a real data. And you'll be shocked that what sits behind this dashboard I'm showing you is actually an Excel sheet. So if anybody is interested in doing handheld training, where you'll be taught what's it called? You'll be held by hand from beginning to the end. Within 6 weeks, you will learn how to use SQL extensively. You will learn how to do Power BI, Excel, and so on and so on, doing data modeling, visualization, and taught how to hunt for job within the data space. It's what's it called? It takes 6 weeks. The next class starts on the 25th of November and it costs £550. You can ask me for 10% discount. I can give you the code and I can pop it up there. There is a website. Pope, can you please put the code and the website in the chat if anybody's interested, or if you have friends that are interested, please feel free to share with them. For that, other place where they are doing data analysis training, I don't think you can get it as cheap for us. It is here. If you are living in we work with both the UK, the US, and Canadian time zone. We've got people in the US that are joining. I don't think there is anywhere where you will get data analysis training done in the US for $750. So please, if you are interested, join the US cohort if you are in the US. And if you're in Canada, we do $950 in Canada. Also, I don't think there's anywhere in Canada where you get a data analyst training done for $950. The last one I saw from my cousin is about $2,500. That is it. We give you assignment, we give you mentoring. As long as you're willing to put the work within 6 weeks, it's gonna be a bit of an intensive one, but within 6 weeks you'll be done and you have the confidence. But one thing within this space is that if you don't practice, you will never get better. So you have to practice. So if you want to be trained, go to exovat.com/training. And if you have any questions, please feel free to unmute your mic and ask us questions, or you can chat in the group straight directly. Questions, please unmute your mic. Any questions? Pope, can you allow people to unmute their mic, please?
You can.
Okay, please unmute your mic. If you want to chat or if you want to type, if you have any questions, please feel free to unmute your mic, or if there is any part of this slide that you want me to go back to and show you, I can go back.
Okay. There's a question in the chat box.
All right.
Is Excel enough to land you a job? Yes, Excel is good enough to land you a job, but there are so many job demand that goes beyond Excel these days. But Excel is a very good place to start. So Excel is a good place to start. When you are dealing with more complicated data or we are dealing with larger data sets, then you realize Excel is not enough again. But Excel is the background of everything for most of them, for most organizations. But I can tell you point blank that if it is only Excel that you know and you are firing for job applications today, if you are able to land a job, with time, you will be the done, but with time, they will expect you to learn other tools too because the demand will come for it. But at least it's the minimum that you need to have skill-wise. Is there any other questions? Oh,
Yes,
it's nice.
I have a question here.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. It's about the price for that's the 6 weeks package. Is it after the 6 weeks, the mentoring class still continues, or after the 6 weeks, that's the end?
We support you through your job search and job finding application interviews. We sit with you, we practice with you. All the questions you're likely to get for an interview, we would have drilled you for it before it comes.
Okay.
So,
all right. One more last question, sir. What's the price for we in Nigeria?
We can do something and make some arrangements with you in Nigeria. We will put up a message for people in Nigeria what's it called? A kind of a special arrangement because we understand the exchange rate and all the likes that comes with it. We'll make a special. We'll see what kind of arrangement we can make for people in Nigeria just to make it easy for them.
Okay, sir. We'll wait. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
No problem. So if you want to get data to play around with, if you go online, just Google sample data set for data analysis, you will be able to get it. If you cannot get it, put download data set. And if you don't know, you can go on Kaggle, Kaggle. You can get a lot of free data sets that you can use. Another place you can do is if you go on YouTube and you are watching Excel related video or some data analysis related video, if you read the description, the person that is doing the demo will put a link to where you can download the data that is using for demo for you, and you'll be able to download it and practice with them. And that's the trick. So, any other questions?
It's great. Although they tell you, you wait. Damn,
yeah, yes, I have a question.
Yeah, please. Go ahead. Somebody said they have a question. Oh, they got muted. Oh. Thank you very much, Rosemary. Thank you very much.
Please
unmute your mic and ask your question.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, all right. Sometimes when these are explained, it looks very expressive based on something. When you talk about theory,
Yeah.
theory, is not same with practical.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of challenges one will have along, aside from, I know 6 weeks, a handful is not enough for one to be grounded in, from what I've seen this night, you know what I mean, with some engagement and whatever, because some people are working and the other things. So my question is this: when you talk about 6 weeks, is 6 weeks maybe after that is all about job, or is there maybe any challenge one can face and they can come back and ask questions and they'll be helped? That's what I want to ask.
So if you join the training cohort, what happens is during the training you will have a group where you can talk to us, you can talk to your classmates, you can ask questions. You'll be given assignment every week. As long as you're able to do your assignment for each week, trust me, by week 6, you see all those dashboard I showed you, the accident in the UK, the one sales data, it was actually made by people within the section. I can also show you other assignments if you want to see them. Within 6 weeks, people were able to make all those things. And when they made it like extensively. They made it really, really well. What happened after the training was, yes, there are other, you need to keep practicing, because if you don't practice, you are likely to forget everything you've learned, or you just be having idea, but you will not be able to do it, because most of this software we're using, they also get updated. So if you are not practicing, you probably start losing the skill little by little. So what happens is, once in a blue moon, we put challenges in the group. Once in a blue moon, if you are hunting for job, you come around to say, oh, I've applied for this job. You understand, we give you support through the whole job application, and you have an interview. We'll kind of walk you through everything they are likely to ask you, and until you get a job. And when you're at work, you just keep improving. It's just like it's also like driving, kind of. If you learn how to drive, the driving stays with you, but you become rusty when you've not been practicing how to drive enough. So that's just basically it. We'll support you through the process. There'll be other stuff you will need to learn, but it will not be in form of crazy learning anymore. It will be just more of practicing after the training.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it will be more practicing. Yeah.
That's lovely, because the reason why I asked this question, I've seen some adverts, they say 24 weeks, about 6 months on this. I know the price is not same, but talking about 6 weeks, that's what I'm trying to. Is it same? Yeah, or is it bombarded? Will it be bombarded? That's what I'm trying to.
So what we do is, we try not to give you all kinds of useless stuff that you do not need at work.
Okay.
What we do is, we give you the exact content that we know you will need at work. All of us that are training this stuff, we are all data analysts by the day. So it's what we use on day-to-day basis that we know that you will need for the job. Do you understand? Now, when you now get to the job, you now start putting other stuffs on it. Do you understand what I mean? And then in 6 months, you will be way better than somebody that has just gone for 6 months doing training and just coming to say, oh yeah, I just finished my training, I have certificate, come and give me a job. No. Because you've been dealing with it every day as part of your day-to-day life, then you get better. So our own is, we give you the foundational stuff that you need to get to work. And when you get to work, you keep building on it. That's it. I realize there are so many trainings where they give you all kinds of stuff that you probably will not need, or things that what's it called? Yeah, they just give you most of the stuff that you will not need at work, or things that by the time you finish that course, you would have forgotten everything.
Yeah.
And I've spoken to friends that did training with people with such kind of training before. I told them, I like, oh, well, you don't need this stuff. I'm not saying it's not important, but you will not need it. And they say, oh, well, did you know this? I'm like, no problem, no problem. By the time they were done, I'm like, oh, so how far now? She was like, oh, well, I realized I need more Excel than and now I just brushed over Excel for them. I just took them into some crazy, I mean, she took them into proper AI stuff, which is good. But I'm like, okay, so can you now go and apply for an AI related role? Now, no, I don't have that level of confidence. So because all the jobs I'm applying for, they are asking me for some software engineering skill, and I've not done software engineering before. I'm like, okay, now you know what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
for us, we are not going to put you to, we will not take you from, a novice driver. Will not put you on the express immediately. We'll put you
Yeah.
on the minor roads where you will become an expert on those minor roads. So that by the time you want to go on the express by yourself, you will be able to go with confidence because you've been on the road for quite a while. And
Yeah.
that's our own approach.
I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah.
That's lovely. Yeah.
Thank you.
No
Yeah,
problems,
and
man.
a quick addition, at the end of the day, we end up spending more than 6 weeks because sometimes we also need to create extra classes and say, okay, to catch up with this criteria. So it's not, it's just basically 6 weeks, but not a golden rule. If we notice that you need more, we give more. So
yeah. Some people actually need help more with Excel beyond the 6 weeks. With SQL beyond the 6 weeks, and we just stick with them around the whole period. And some of the tools you will actually get from us are tools that you can actually use to improve yourself at your own time after the 6 weeks. Is there any other question?
Someone is asking if you'll be able to get reference after the 6 weeks training.
After the 6 weeks training, if we have projects that we can give to you and what's it called, and we are very sure of whatever, we can do reference, but it's not just like, oh yeah, we are giving you reference. Unfortunately, we will not be able to give you reference if we are not sure of your capacity. So we must be sure that, okay, this person knows what they are doing. We don't want you to go to work and start messing things around because it will backfire on our reference too. So yes, we do installment payments. We allow installment payments. You can pay in bits. I think, is it 2 or 3 installments? Yeah, I think 3 installments. Yeah, you can do 3 installments for the payment, and that's it. So yeah. And what else?
The community.
Yes, we have a community. We have an alumni community where we post jobs that we find ourselves that we think people can easily apply to, and we give them the tricks that they can easily use to beat those jobs.
Yeah. Lastly, please, this question, please, very important for me.
Yeah.
Sometimes because someone told me, I don't know if it's Pope or told me that is every Saturday
Yes.
is meant for the training. Yeah. And sometimes we have the time 6 to 8:30, something of that nature. Sometimes I start my shift around 7 o'clock p.m. and must I be available, or maybe
no?
Can I still follow up? Maybe if I watch the
Yes, all classes are recorded, so you can easily follow up at your own pace. As long as you get the assignment done, you will not miss anything. You can watch the video at your own time and do the assignment.
All right.
So you watch the video after the class and you have a question, you can ask any day of the week and you get response.
Okay. It's all right.
So if anybody is here and they did not join the webinar WhatsApp group, please join. We will push more information out there for you guys after this this call also. The link to the WhatsApp group is in there. Is there any other question? Okay. Going once, we'll wait 2 more minutes. By 7:40, if there's no more question, we'll end this session. Going once, Going once. Thank you. Thank you very well. Thank you very much, Morolake. I don't want to
Yes,
mess
sir.
up.
Can we get the recorded class? This
For
particular
the recorded version of this, yes, we'll make that available to you. Join the WhatsApp group and we'll make that available to you, please.
All right, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Very grateful.
We appreciate your coming too. Okay. Somebody said they need bronchial. You mean the flyer? For the yes, we'll pass that through in the group. The WhatsApp group definitely. A bronchial, like actual bronchial, where we'll put all the stuffs into you. Okay. Yeah, we'll put breakdown of course for you. We'll put breakdown of course for you. Yeah, somebody said you can go on exovat.com/training and you'll be able to see the details. That's it. Yeah. Okay, it's 7:40. Thank you very much, everybody. And this is the end of the whole training. Have a wonderful